is Carissa, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a realistic fondant rose. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you have all your tools. So that includes a knife. Today I'm using a pizza cutter and a type of fabric or material that is non-stick. What I'm using today is basically plastic. I just got it at my local fabric store, and this can be cleaned after every use. It's very important to stay clean and work clean. A couple things about fondant before we begin is when fondant is exposed to the air and not wrapped up in saran wrap, it gets very, very dry and hard. So just like this rose that I made earlier, this is 100% dry and hard now. So that is why you want to make sure that any fondant that you're not working with is sealed and airtight. So let's get started. You want to grab the fondant that you will be using. Today I'm using this pretty orange peach color, and kind of working it in your hands just to make sure, warming it up kind of and making it a little bit more malleable than it was when you first took it out of the saran wrap. And then you kind of form it into a cylinder. So you do that by placing it on your mat and rolling it, applying the same pressure from the inside to the outside. You want the width to be the same from this end to that end. So now that we've got this far, we'll take our knife or our pizza cutter, cut it in half, and then cut it into fourths. Okay, now each segment of this line is now a petal, basically. So what you want to do for your next step is form each petal into a sphere. Now I'm placing these on the edge of my mat for a reason, because next I'm going to kind of sandwich each petal with the mat, and then starting from the center of each petal and working my way to one end and making it really thin, I will basically have each petal ready to put it together. Sorry. Okay. And a quick note, if you don't have this, you can use a pastry bag, you can use a Ziploc bag, you can try and do it just with your hand, but it won't look as smooth. Okay, so now we want to start with the rosebud. And this is basically the center of the rose. This is what the rose is going to be forming around. It looks kind of like this. And you can end here if you want, just taper off the edges by doing a kind of like a sawing motion, but I want to make a full rose today. So now you take your second petal and you start at the opening of the rosebud. You're going to secure, you're going to secure one side and make sure it's stuck to the rosebud, leaving the other side open, because this is where you're going to put the second petal. And the same goes for this one. Secure one side and rotate the rose and secure this rose onto this side of the petal, leaving it open and inserting your last petal. Okay, so now you kind of have like a half open rose, and what you'll do now, you want to leave these petals still not attached. We don't want to attach those because we want to make them look realistic. Now to get this weird little blob of the fondant off, all you do is make the same sawing motion that I showed you guys earlier and kind of tapering off the blob. So at this point, this is the fun part, you can shape each petal and make it look even more realistic. So I kind of like to give my roses a pointed top. And then be very careful not to overwork it, because the more you overwork it, the more unnatural it looks. So I think I'm just gonna leave it like this right now. So this is how you would make a smaller rose. If you wanted to do a bigger rose, you could just add on more petals, just like this one. But other than that, that's how you would make a fondant rose. Thank you for watching. Bye.